Welcome to Skippily. This is your first content video where you have to watch a video and fill out the notes. Topic of this video is noun dictionary entries, which means that if I go look up a noun in the dictionary, these are what I'm going to see. I'm going to see amicus, amici, for example. Now, it's important to learn these because they give us all sorts of information we need as we move forward in Latin. So you can't just memorize the nominative and accusative form anymore. You're really going to have to use these dictionary entries to form the words into all 5 cases we're going to learn over the course of this year. So let's get working on these notes. I want you to really look at these dictionary entries, and I want you to sort these words up here into the declensions. So for example, I might see that amicus has a US, and I know US is usually second declension, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write amicus right down here. And I want to point out that I, in fact, wrote the whole dictionary entry. I didn't just write amicus. One more thing, you'll see that on my notes, what's different is that I have this challenge accepted right there. That means that these 2 words are challenge words. I want you to guess where they go, and if you get them wrong, it's okay. Okay, unpause the video. You can see that I have the answers all right here. The one I don't have is puer, pueri, and I want to point out that it goes in second declension. My guess is that many of you put it into third, but that's okay. We'll talk about why in just a sec, and you will never make that mistake again. Okay, so now that we see that ancilla, toga, and tunica all belong here, and amicus, triclinium, hortus, dominus, and puer belong here, I want you to compare all of these words and tell me what do they have in common. Then do the same thing with second declension, and do the same thing with third declension. So for example, I might look down here and see that the first forms all end in an A. Go ahead, do that now for these 3 columns. Okay, unpause the video. You can see I have the answers all right here. So in the first column, that AE in the second form is really important. So you want to make sure that's down. You also have written the little f too. Moving on to the second column and second declension, again, that second form in the dictionary entry, that always ends with an I. It's an I all the way down. Even in puer, pueri. You may have also noticed that I always have an M or an N in that form at the end. All right, moving on to the third declension and third column. That first form, not very similar. But the second form, again, we see that we have an IS all the way down. Oops. We have the IS all the way down. Mater, matris, mercator, mercatoris, pater, patris. All the way down, we have IS every single time. Again, this is what the dictionary tells you when you go to look up a noun. First, second, and third declension words always look like this. Now we're going to go and we're going to label all of these different parts of the dictionary entry. First one, mercator, that's the nominative form. So far we've been calling it the book form. If you look it up in your textbook, that's what you see in the back as mercator. This is the genitive form. Now, genitive is another case, which we're not going to spend too much time with this year, but it's like the accusative form, it's the genitive form. So it's the second form they give you. This is the gender, which does not matter very much now, but will matter second semester. And last, of course, is what the word means in English. So I can feel you wondering, why do we need this? So let's turn to the back of our notes. There are 4 different reasons. The first one is that they tell us the declension. Now remember, declensions tell us what set of endings we need to use on our words. If you go back to the front of your notes, first declension genitive, or that second form, first declension genitive will always end in the same 2 letters, AE, 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 all the way down. That's what they all have in common. So second form, the genitive form, will always end in AE. In second declension, if you look on the front of your notes again, that second form is always going to end in an I. And third declension will always end in an IS. That is why puer, pueri, even though it has that weird nominative form, still has an I in the genitive, so that means it's second declension. Now the other reason they're really great is because they tell us the stem. And the stem is what I add my endings to. In order to find that stem, I need to drop the genitive ending. So in first declension, I'm going to look at the second form and drop off the AE. Second, I'm going to look at the second form and drop off the I, etc. And last, but certainly not least, they tell us the meaning of the word, which is usually why you're going to the dictionary anyway. Okay, this is the same sheet you have. It's a prettier version, and then I added this at the bottom. So, dictionary entries are important because they tell us the declension of a word, they tell us the stem of the word, they tell us the gender of the word, and they tell us the meaning of the word. Okay, I want you to go ahead and draw this chart at the bottom of your page. Do not draw these little lines. These are just text boxes so I can type in them later. So for example, let's look at echoous, echoey together. I'm actually going to find the declension first. And to do that, I'm going to look at this genitive form, the second form. And up here, I see that if it ends with an I, like it does here, it's second declension. Now the stem, to find the stem, I drop the I off of that. So that means that my stem is EQU. All right, pause the video and do the rest of these, paying very careful attention to we're, weary. Okay, I want you to check your answers against what I have here. So lex legis is third declension. I know that because I see this IS in the genitive, and I know that when the genitive or the second form ends in IS, it's third declension. Okay. Also, I know the stem because I dropped that genitive ending off and I'm left with just LEG. That's my stem. Okay. For we're, weary, it is second declension. I know it has that weird nominative, but I see that I in the genitive and second declension I genitive. So I know it's second declension. The stem, when I drop that I off, is just VIR, weir. All right. Puretta, again, I am looking at the second form, and I see it ends with an AE, and that means it's first. And then the stem is, drop that AE off, and my stem is Pirat. And then Psittacus, same thing. I see the I in the genitive. I in the genitive. Stem is Spicit, because I dropped that I off, and that's what I got. Okay. Now, don't forget to take the last little quiz, and I will see you in class tomorrow. Bye, Discipuli.